This episode's accidentally brought to you by Vancouver Island Brewing, 19 IPA. And if I didn't know any better, I'd say that's Jimmy Buffett in a can. Let's start the show.
Hey everybody, welcome back, or for the first time, or for the last time. This is Designers Are the Worst. It's your new least favorite show about an exclusively visual medium cleverly brought to you in an audio format. My name is Matt Salick. I am a person.
And my name is Marcus Farrell, and I am a person too.
Whoa!
I hope everybody enjoyed a 2-hour unintentional episode.
Yeah, for anybody that enjoyed that. I mean, when I was listening to it, when I was editing it, not that I edited it, if there's a weird sound, I took it out, but I did not make it shorter, as you probably could tell. I found it interesting. It was long, but I thought it was pretty good, but very long.
Yeah. It's, and for not being a Joe Rogan or a Pete Holmes.
Who are you calling not a Joe Rogan?
This?
Yep.
This is definitely not a Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's actually correct.
So we got to start doing these encroaching on the 3 and 4 hour episode lengths with no breaks, no intermissions, and only one part. So you get it all in one. That is horseshit.
Yeah, I think for the next one, we're just going to welcome everybody, and then I'm going to hit play on Casino, and Marcus and I will watch it in silence, and that'll be episode 5. It's going to be called Go Fuck Yourself, because we don't care.
And then it'll just be us. We'll have the microphones on, but we'll be in the background commentating, not on the movie, but on people we see outside.
Or we can go in the back and play darts.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so episode 5, skip that one.
Or favorite it.
But don't skip this one, or do, but don't. Today's a really good one. Not that the other ones weren't good, which is what you feel like when you say something like that. But we have Chris and Stu Dobell on today, and they are for sure second, possibly third generation traditional sign painters. They're from Australia. They like to drink beer and they like to swear. So we are a very good fit for each other. And they are like traditional sign painters who actually do a whole bunch of new shit on top of it. They incorporate graffiti and all this kind of stuff. They're really, really good dudes. And yeah, we're just going to have just a bunch of fun talking about basically what's wrong with everybody else who sign paints. Because I've talked to them over a few beer many a time, and there is a lot wrong apparently.
I did not know that. I thought maybe the other people who sign paint in quotations is people who put on stickers. Yeah, onto windows.
Yeah, they enjoy that. The vinyl thing is a big topic for the Dobells, or at least for Chris. Yeah, vinyl is the devil, according to them, and I agree in a lot of cases. What I want to ask them about today, one of them is just how do we, as graphic designers, or if you're an interior designer, or whoever the hell you are, how do you convince your client to spend 4 times as much on getting it done by hand? Now, we've had success with clients in the past. The front door of our shop here at Bully, as we're recording 11 and a half feet from a major road, which is why you can hear all the cool stuff in the background. But our front glass door was painted by Chris, and to us, it's worth it because it looks sweet. Mm-hmm. But how do we convince the people that want the quick thing to go for the thing that's going to look cool forever? And actually looks better as it ages rather than vinyl, which looks like a bag of nonsense over time.
Yeah, there's definitely a convincing time period where you have to convince that client that something handmade by a professional, by an expert, is going to be well worth the money over something you click, clack, and scan and print and slap it and away you go.
And professional and expert are very important words. If your sign painter is in the same word, which I've seen probably walk about 10 minutes from the studio shop here, there's an awning where the owner painted it himself. And within the same word, there's a mix of both serif and sans serif.
It's just it's to spark conversation is what it is.
Oh, like what went totally wrong there? And Chris actually was involved in that, not in a way that he put any paint to anything, but I think we can, through code language and omitting shit, actually tell the whole story. And he has 900, like whenever I see him, he's like, oh, and check out the shit on my phone, all this horrible stuff I found last week. And he takes pictures of terrible signs and he takes pictures of awesome signs. And they're both just fans of it. So it's going to be fun to talk to them today.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. So first of all, we wanted to get into something we were calling hashtag, or was it?
I don't know. Hash dogs, hot dog hash dogs.
What about hash bag?
Yeah, bag of hash.
Bag of hash. It's a big bag of shit.
A scrotum of hashtags.
Just a stinky bag of cyclotropics.
So this is a new experimental segment that we're going to try out and see how it goes. If it sucks, if it's dumb, please let us know. If it's not, please let us know. Either way, let us know.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. If you like if you enjoy or despise anything we're doing, let us know. So what we were curious about was, after we thought of the name for our show, was, are other people using this exact phrase in any way on social media? So I just did a quick search on Twitter, and yeah, there's a whole lot of people that are using the exact "designers are the worst" or something very, very close to that.
Yeah, it's not just a hashtag "designers are the worst." It's actually the full phrase or every word in a tweet.
So what we're going to do today, and Marcus hasn't read any of these yet. I picked out 3 good ones last night. Is we're going to be reading you a few of the tweets that came up in the search, and one of them, not one I'm going to read today, but one of them was a full-grown woman arguing with a 13-year-old boy over design, and it was so sad. It's just like, even if she's right, she's losing because he's a 13-year-old kid and she's arguing with him on Twitter. So with the 3 that I found today, I didn't make the mistake of going into like the thread or anything. So I didn't. I don't know what a.
There's no point in getting a backstory or any other. Holy shit! Any other information about the situation? Going with no knowledge, which is my side, and no understanding of either side. It's great because then you can judge and make fun.
Well, let's commence the judging.
Let's begin.
The first tweet was from @DVSBot. So DVSBot says, Asana's, who is a task management software, and we at Bully are loyal Flow users. So Asana can. I'm not that against this Asana thing. So anyway, Asana's designers are the worst terrorist threat to this country.
Okay.
Now, if you've ever used Asana, it's complex, but I think, there's, I don't want to mention any events, but there's been worse shit.
So this brings up a few questions. Is one, like, the designers are the terrorists to America? And it's just America, right?
It said this country. I don't know where @DVSBot is from. If anybody's listening, tweet @DVSBot and ask where he's from.
It's very confusing, and I think a bit selfish to say that they're the terrorists of this country. I mean, you look at other things, like, is ISIS on Asana? Well, do they use it for their tasks? I don't know.
What if @DVSBot is like the only guy living on like Easter Island? It could be.
Or it's one of those really rich people who own their own island.
It's Richard Branson.
It's Richard Branson and his wife uses it, and he's like, it's the worst terrorists of this island.
Drinking mezcal out of an orphan skull. This task management software is terrible.
Did this person in question tweet at Asana?
Nope.
Well,
that's a lack of bravery right there. I mean, if you're going to fuck with somebody, fuck with them.
You know what? That's classic terrorism, is not having the balls to show your face. So who is the terrorist now? The tweeter.
Yeah. Everybody stop and think for a minute while I find the next one. Also, I'd also like to note that tweet received 0 retweets and 0 likes.
In terrorist jokes, I watched The Big Sick last night
Oh, is that good?
It was a fantastic movie. And
with Kumail Nanjiani and Emily V. Gordon, his wife, wrote it about how they actually got together.
This is true. There is a joke in it, which I don't want to give away.
Well, don't give away the only joke in it.
Okay, it's the only joke. Yeah, but it is terrorist related. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Just imagine it's really funny and laugh to yourself.
Man, just picture the opening scene from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, when Michelangelo uses pepperoni as nunchucks. And because the Parents' Council said that after the first one, the Ninja Turtles should not use actual weapons because it's encouraging violence in children. So they use pepperoni and bread. So think about that and laugh like you would at the Big Sick.
Well, now I need to know who the real terrorist is.
Yeah, Michelangelo. The next tweet is from Kutha. It's at KUHTHAA. Kutha.
Not like Cthulhu.
It's not Cthulhu. It's I'm probably butchering it. If it's a real name, I apologize. If it's a made up name, then you get what you get. Now this one is replying to 3 people, so this is mid conversation about something. This one starts off, I tell you, graphic designing and graphic designers are the worst. Cringy emoticon, sad emoticon. It's always that time of the month for them.
Oh, that's a deep personal stab.
Yep.
So obviously that they worked with somebody who maybe took everything too personal and then they just started bleeding from their face.
Or speaking to somebody that owns a design company, that time of the month could easily be billing time and shit isn't rolling in as quickly as you would like. So yeah, but it's not always that time of the month.
No, and sometimes time of the month means payday, and that's when you go get a pizza. So it has many meanings, all of which aren't as funny as that tweet.
No. Yeah, that was a good one. And 0 likes, 0 retweets. Now the last one is from Ben dash 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 dash. Really liberal with the bands.
That's not a fucking name.
No, and it's at Yocline, YOCLINE. So there's absolutely no friends with your name in your username. And he's replying to somebody. So this tells me that hopefully at this point, this conversation has ended. And it could have ended with this. Ben multiple dashes says, people are assholes and designers are the worst kind of people.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck you, Yocline. If you're listening to this and you take offense to that, go to at YOCLINE and say, fuck you.
Do you know what? I think is that this segment needs sugar. It needs to be sweet.
Oh, we need a good one? Designers are the best?
No. God, no. God, no. No. Immediate reactions, like gut reactions, is we need to do something else with this.
Yeah.
In my head, it went better.
Yeah.
But I guess it didn't.
I think it's entertaining because we came up, with the name of the show because a lot of people in the design world, it's kind of a big show. And look, I'm a designer and my work is all derivative and I copy everybody's stuff. But look at my Instagram and my haircut and all that. That's why I thought of the name. But then as I was starting to search tweets, I'm starting to think there's developers that don't like us. There's clients. There's like mothers and fathers. There's coworkers. There's everybody that are all tweeting designers are the worst. So
I did see one when I briefly searched, and it was interior designers are the worst type of people.
Oh, and there's one about fashion designers are the worst because they don't pay anybody. So why would you want to interview them or something? Yeah, we're going to get into the spectrum. We're going to figure out how to make this something that will end not just abruptly.
Like most segments.
Oh, okay. Hey, how about this? If you can think of a reason why designers are the worst, hit us up at Worst Design Show on Instagram and Twitter, or /Worst Design Show on Facebook, and let us know why you think we're the worst.
And then we'll do a press conference tour about why.
And if any of them are mildly intelligent or funny, we'll read them on the air.
And if they're not, then we'll probably still read them.
Oh, there's always next week.
There's always private time.
So speaking of negativity, there's just one thing that I wanted to bring up before we talk to our guests, and that is how frustrating it is to see people practicing lettering, is what they call it, when they decide to stop using fonts. And there are a few letterers out there who are really, really good, but you're not a letterer if you just start like kind of shaping stuff out and all that. It takes a lot of training. We're going to talk about that with Chris and Stu today, how about they went to trade schools and all this shit, like, and stuff that it's really hard to find these days. But my problem was with the trend of letterers that are doing like inspirational posters, but just putting one swear word in them. Like, believe in yourself every fucking day. And it's all drawn, all whatever. And it's just, it drives me absolutely nuts because you can't just insert that stuff in and then it's edgy, but that stuff sells like mad. Like those prints sell out everywhere. And the thing I found, and somebody did it in like Illustrator or something like that. We'll post it up on the site at designersoftheworst.com. Check out this show for the notes. It's a notebook.
Oh, God.
And they use kind of every trendy font they could find. They use like a little banner and a dotted line. And
shit, I fucking gotta get done.
Shit, I gotta fucking get done. So they contracted got to by doing gotta, but then they went with the full fucking instead of fucking.
The only person I know who uses gotta is the Beastie Boys when they say they have to, I gotta get down.
And they did.
With Mixmaster Mike.
Oh, what you got to say? Yep, that's right.
Gotta get down.
Yep. So, yeah, that's...
Wow, I've been fortunate to not see those in the wild or in my interneting.
Oh, man. It's... You see someone with a t-shirt and it says like, dreams are so fucking awesome. And it's just like stuff that my mom has in her house. Like she has these like little placards and shit everywhere, like dance like no one's watching and like 30 thirsty thexy, like all this shit that means nothing. But if it was like dance like nobody's fucking watching, like it doesn't make it better. Like, it makes it stupider.
If it was dance like you're on heroin.
Yeah.
That would be okay.
We all saw Train Spotting. That looks like a hoot.
We're currently kind of just browsing for houses at the moment, and the amount of houses that have the live, laugh, love in that order, somewhere in the house, whether it's a sticker on the wall or like a painting or a fucking photo of it, is astronomical. That's, if you want to talk about things you hate, I want to burn a house down. I see that.
And so my mom gave me one of those one Christmas. It said like live, laugh, was it live, laugh, love or whatever?
Sure.
It was like this like ceramic plate. And then I took it outside. I put it in the back of the car. I looked at Ryan, my wife, and I punched it and I broke it in half. And she says, "Why'd you do that?" I'm like, "Can't unring a bell. No point asking a bell why it rang because it just did."
Wow.
And then my aunt or somebody else in my family got me one that said Amore. It was made out of wood. And I took it in the garage as soon as we got home, and I full on like Daniel Russo'd it, and I crane kicked it, and I knocked the shit out of it until it was just in pieces. And also do that stuff with like, we get like nativity scenes from family members at the holidays for some reason, all smashed.
Okay, I really want to go back to, not to get like completely derailed and off topic. I want to go back to, you can't unring a doorbell?
No, bell.
You can't unring a bell.
Yeah.
Where the fuck does that come from?
It's an old saying. It's wrong. What are you going to do? You can ask it, why did you ring? Like, what does it matter? I rung.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I live a lot of situations like that where it's like somebody will get mad and ask like, why'd you do that? It's like, well, it's too late now. It already happened. There's nothing we can do about it. We can't change the past. Don't bother questioning it.
You can't unring a bell.
I can't unhit that car.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yep. It's very freeing. Yeah. So is there anything you wanted to bring up before we cut it short?
No, I got nothing. It's been pretty foggy of a week of work. Yeah. No highs, no lows, just
even Steven.
Doing work.
All right. Well, speaking of doing work, we're going to do work by speaking to people who do work. When we come back, we're going to be back with Chris and Stu Dobell talking about sign painting. Goodbye. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are sitting here talking with Chris and Stu Dobell. Welcome, fellas.
Hi.
Welcome.
Chris, you got to get way closer to that thing.
Scares me, this thing.
Marcus has a habit of not greeting the guests.
This is true. I usually turn around and face the corner.
Yeah, we call them Blair Witch.
It looks better from behind anyway.
That's a compliment.
That's why I turn my hat around sometimes.
Starting early.
Yeah. So yeah, we're here with Chris and Stu Dobell. And I'm always worried I'm saying your last name wrong, even though I'm positive I'm saying it right. Because I've heard Dobell, like there's an apostrophe in it.
I like the French version, douche bell.
Just a bell full of douche.
Oh, dumbbell.
Dumbbell, doorbell, we get it all.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys are, for those of you who don't know, Chris and Stu are traditional sign painters who, what was the name of that documentary? Is it just called Sign Painters?
Yeah, I think it's called the Sign Painter documentary. Yeah.
If you watch it, you'll see their t-shirt in it because one of the guys is wearing the t-shirt.
Yeah, famous.
Thank you guys for coming in. This is great.
Yes, thank you.
We're pretty fortunate to live in a town where we've discovered people that are easy to talk to and drink beer and do cool shit. So excited to talk to you guys today. So for those of you who don't know Chris and Stu, they will tell you about themselves in 15 seconds or less.
Go, Stu.
Chums. That's all I got.
Not only are they brothers, they're chums, and that's sweet.
Yeah, I guess I can do 15 seconds. Aussies, Wollongong, just south of Sydney. Went to a trade school, learned how to paint signs with our dad. Moved to Canada, we're in a curse, can't get out of it. Still painting fucking signs.
Paint till we die.
So yeah, there's a few interviews and stories out there about you guys. If people want to learn about the whole story with the trade school and all that kind of stuff, it's super interesting, and that's a thing we wanted to get into in a little bit about the whole school aspect and how it affects modern people that want to get into that. But what would you guys do today? I'm always curious what your days look like, because I'd imagine some days you're in the sea can out back in Phillips Brewing and painting shit for Phillips and for other people. Then other days you're on a boat or you're painting like a tractor or what happened today?
Yeah. Well, Stu texted me this morning and said, eggs Benny, please.
With a side of Caesar.
No, actually, I totally forgot this guy was showing up with his bike for his girlfriend. So he showed up, and then, of course, I always do what I always do, and I just throw it back on the Stu to do everything. I'm like, hey, I can pinstripe this and leather this guy's bike.
Which I did.
Which he did a really great job on. And then another guy rolled in from the Tartan Took and with a beautiful old 1960
Comet.
Yeah, 60 Comet. So,
oh, wow.
so we're going to put Tartan Took on the side of that, and then...
Yeah, and for the people listening, the Tartan Took is a kind of like a little art restaurant bar thing. It's like a block from our shop here. And it just occurred to me, we don't go there and drink beer nearly enough as we should.
Yeah, it's a good little hangout.
I think there was a situation that nobody talks about.
They used to have amnesia on tap there.
Oh,
which is,
yeah.
Awesome. But I recently found out they don't do it anymore because cheap 8.5% beer.
Yeah, I used to really enjoy that. We take the kids, we'd walk up there and get them tofu burgers and all that stuff because we're hippies. And I say it's 3:00 on a Saturday. I will have my third 8.5% beer, please. And we are walking home, so I will have a fourth.
Yeah. So we're going to put some lettering on that tomorrow, and then our friend Ryan Yeamans showed up from Ladysmith, and we did some pinstriping, and then crushed a couple of quick blue bucks before we got up here, so that we could shake the nerves off. So it was a pretty good day. Picked up some shirts for you guys.
Yeah, we got some sweet shirts. We're not going to give them away as prizes. We will actually wear them.
I'm going to turn mine into a crop top and make some money.
Right now?
No, after the show.
I don't know if there's a lot of money to be made in the room.
Go turn some tricks after this.
I'll see you on the bottom of Pandora on the way home.
So is that like an average day of people just dropping by with stuff?
It's my wife always says to me, "Oh, you should plan your days out. You know, like try and get everything. No, nothing ever goes to plan in our shop. It's just a shit show down there."
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just kind of roll with it, and hopefully things go well, and you don't spell shit wrong like I always do. And then Stu comes to the rescue and fixes everything.
Most of the time.
Yeah, so if you've ever been to anywhere that serves Phillips beer, and we had Sean O'Keefe on a couple of weeks ago who does all the labels for them. Now, if you've ever been into a pub or a bar that has Phillips on tap, chances are they have a sandwich board or some kind of sign inside that says Phillips on it. And if you look, they are all hand painted. Now, Chris has been doing painting for Phillips for, I think the first time I saw you back there must have been 5 years ago. And I'm sure you were there before.
Yeah, 8.5 years now.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
I once worked for 8.5 years at a place I despised. So it wasn't a brewery. So it must be still kind of fun for you. No, university. And I was a graphic designer, and my office locked from the inside. So I'd get to work and I'd lock the door and close the blinds and would crawl under my desk and sleep.
Nice. I had a friend that used to brew beer. Oh, that was pretty cool.
So yeah, if you've ever been to Victoria too, we'd recommend it in British Columbia because it's nice this time of year, and then it's bad other times of year. But basically, if you go to any pub, any place that has beer on tap, you're going to see Chris and Stu's work on the wall. And I saw it for years before I realized that it wasn't a bunch of people doing it. I figured that they were just hiring random people in town to paint stuff, and then hearing more and more about, at the time Chris just lived here, and it's like, oh, there's an Australian guy. I'm like, well, that's already good news because he'll drink beer and he'll swear and everything's good. And then after a while, after being aware of you, I started to see more and more of your guys' work around town. And then one day you were doing a sign painting kind of intro, not like a course, like here's how to do it, but basically the story of you at the public library downtown.
Yeah, which was random.
Yeah, it was super random. And I took our oldest kid to it, who was like 13 or something at the time, or 12. And it was awesome. Like we were expecting somebody doing like a sign painting demo, like, oh, cool, you're showing us how we can't do this at all because it's really, really hard. But Chris went into all the history of it and like the old show cards, and had just a huge like library of materials on a big table.
Yeah, you've still got one of my books.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The how to make extra money as a designer.
Yeah.
It's in the back. That's when I first actually met you, and I went up to you and I'm like, hey, we're at that time we had just gotten this shop, and we really wanted you guys to paint the logo on the door and all that kind of stuff. And it was kind of like, I never go up to people and just be like, hey, my name's Matt and I do this. But I was like, I really want this guy to paint the door. So I have to go and like, I have no clue how to get in touch with him other than just walking up to him. So I grabbed my kid. I'm like, hey, we should go talk to this guy. He's like, don't do it, Dad. We don't talk to people.
He looks
in our
scary.
family. Yeah.
He's Australian.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then Chris showed up probably after we saved up money, because we spent a bunch of money opening the shop. Emailed, and you were down here.
You guys came down for beers first, though, didn't you?
Yeah, we did come down for beers first. Yeah,
we ruined you guys, and then we come back to the side.
So describe where you guys work.
Yeah, pretty lucky. In the quick version of it, Stu and I went to a beer tasting and met Matt and Simon, Matt Phillips and Simon Meitner from Phillips Brewing Company. We kind of liked the designs, which were Sean's designs. We didn't know Sean at the time. Mm-hmm. The beer was great. The story that they told was fantastic, and we really like what's going on with these guys. We should really harass the shit out of these guys. So tracked them down, found them in a Esquimalt, went down, somehow managed to get on the friends and family list just by bullshitting our way, and got and they said they were selling us cheap kegs, which was probably illegal back in those days. And then
I think it's still illegal.
Yeah. I think it's changed.
It's for sure now, but it was probably back then.
Matt probably didn't have any idea what was going on. But so we just started harassing Matt with emails. He wasn't ready for anything like that at the time. And then we were working with a couple of awesome guys that we'd met, Colby Spence and Aidan Ellis that were running a screen printing shop. So Stu and I were working out of the back of their shop in an even smaller spot than what we are now, and helping those guys out screen printing and painting signs and doing art shows and all that sort of stuff. And then, we found out about the Woodpile Collective after we did our own art show. And everybody's like, oh, your stuff reminds us of the Woodpile Collective. And we're like, who the fuck are those guys? We'll fight them. And then we realized that all the both Sean's and Blythe were, 6 foot plus and big boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just cowered and went, oh, shit.
Maybe we'll make good friends with them.
Yeah.
We'll try and drink against them. And that
So is that initially when you were tracking down Matt, is that what you're trying to do, is make labels and stuff for them, or?
We'd done a bunch of beer stuff in Australia for clientele back there, and we were just hustling to try and do anything because we didn't know anybody. We were thirsty.
Yeah.
And Stu and I would just paint signs for all sorts of breweries around town. Don't know if I should name them, but we would go down and give them free signs, and they'd be like, hey, that's really awesome. You spent all day on that. Grab a 6-pack on the way out. And we'd be like, fuck yeah. Walk back to the shop and be like, boys, we got a 6-pack.
Boys, that means there's more than one boy there.
Yeah.
Share 6 beer between after a 9-hour day.
Half a beer each, or
it was pretty good.
Each.
One beer, 2 straws.
And I know you guys were talking about your bad beers last week, and we had our fair share of that over the years. But we just kind of hustled, and I would drive around everywhere and knock on doors, and hey, your sign's looking ratty, I'll fix it up for you, sort of thing. And eventually, as I said, it was basically Sean that said to Matt, we need to snap these guys up before somebody else does. And we got invited down for an interview, which was a couple of jugs of beer and a foosball match. And then Stu and I gave them a slideshow of all our stuff that we did in Australia. And I think they took it pretty easy on us because they said, we can, if you guys score one goal against us in a game of foosball, then we'll give you some work. So that was kind of it. So 6.5 years now at the brewery, but at the time we were still working at the old shop. Yeah. And one sign after another, and then 8.5 years. So now full time at the brewery, working out of a 40-foot shipping container.
Yeah, and if you ever get a chance to do one of the Phillips Brewery tours, it's super cool, and it's all kind of like really punk rock back there, and a lot of it's very clean and organized and all that, but there's like holes punched in the walls, and it's just kind of like it's grown over time. And then you get out to the shipping container, which is kind of in the very back parking lot, probably strategically. But yours used to be by like where the loading docks or whatever is now. It used to be like kind of right off the back. And then you guys got relocated out to the annex.
There was a reason for that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Stu was cutting into all the profits.
Yeah. They're like, oh, another Aussie. Send him back over there.
But if you ever get a chance, we've been in there, Ryan and I have been in there drinking beer, and we brought friends there before. It's super, super fun. And just like looking at the walls, like, if you guys ever retire, like you'd be able to sell those shipping containers. Like the inside walls is like it's a 20-year plus like work of art that you could just like, there's like 800 grand right there for some like street art collector.
We could just peel it off.
Yeah, in layers.
Yeah.
But from when I first went in there until now, there are far fewer giant dicks painted on the wall.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed with Sean, actually. Not that I'd mentioned his name on the podcast here, but Mr. O'Keefe has a problem drawing those things all over the wall.
Yeah, but it's really good because you walk in and they'll hand you a beer, and all the work they're currently doing is just hanging on the walls because they paint. You would think there would be some kind of easel or something, but these guys paint on a flat, straight wall. It's the first time I saw Chris do it at that demo at the library, I was completely blown back because I was like, how do you paint with your arm and your elbow and all that like that? So for me, it would have to be on an angle. Like in the corner over here, we have like a drafting table. Like I'd have to put a piece of paper down like that. If it was posted up on the wall, it would just go to shit. It would be so weird. But is that how you learned how to do it? Because that's how you would have to do it?
Stu, you want to take this one? I'm out of beer, man.
Stu's got a phone call.
We were kind of taught to paint upright. I think it was a perspective thing. You could actually stand back and actually look at your work instead of looking over it all the time. your letters would distort, and you wouldn't be able to stand back far enough to see what you were actually painting.
Oh yeah.
So it was kind of a visual and perspective thing. A lot of guys do paint on an easel, but it's probably more of a 45, not so flat.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes Beer Girl. Yay, Beer
Thanks,
Girl.
Ryan's delivering fresh beer for everybody.
Thank you.
Proudly serving Phillips Blue Buck.
Yeah, and this episode is also accidentally brought to you by Phillips Blue Buck.
I don't have
again.
time to write another stupid jingle. It's a blue buck. It's the buck you fuck to. Blue buck. There you go.
Not for everybody. For me, that's watching Uncle Buck.
It's like
There's something about John Candy that does it for me. But watching you guys paint just like on a flat wall, it's just crazy. But now that you say like the perspective and proportions and all that kind of stuff, because when you start on a big piece on a slant and you stand back and look at it, everything's looking kind of good. But then if you put it up on the wall, it's just kind of like, oh, that top is like really small for some reason, but it's because you're looking at it with perspective. So,
Did you ever get a sore neck or shoulders or anything when you're leaning over a desk all day? Like trying to draw?
Yeah, pretty
that's
much.
The other thing too, it was like, guys, I think a lot of the old show card writers used to lean over all day, so you'd probably end up with sore back and shoulders.
Yeah, and if you want to see really, really cool old sign painting photos, follow Chris and Stu at Dobell Designs on Instagram, because not only do they post their own work, which is fucking super gnarly, but they post like it's almost like the history of sign painting, and it's like this old photo from Australia where this guy's like hanging off the side of a building with a rope, basically painting like a laundromat sign, and that's just how you did it, and it looks really cool, and it's just like it almost like looks romantic in a way. It's like, oh, imagine being on that wall and all that. Although thinking about it, it probably super sucked for that guy.
Yeah. Sign painters have always been, or sign writers have always been looked down upon.
Yeah.
It was just a job. You were just a blue collar worker. You just went and painted signs. Nobody cared. Yeah.
It was a job. It wasn't an art. It was like, nobody applauds the plumber when the toilet flushes. It's like, oh, cool, we can crap again.
Yeah.
You're the best. No tip for you. So that's what it used to be. But it's cool to see. Well, for me, it's cool to see how a traditional job was turned into like something that's revered and has been dying out, but has a bit of a resurgence. I mean, the old days compared to today, was it easier being a sign painter back when it was more common, or is it easier now when you're kind of like in a town like this, you guys are almost like the dodo, like there's like one left, but it's two-headed in your case.
Like the Tasmanian tiger.
Tasmanian tiger.
I promised you would actually give him some airtime this time. So say something, man, before I get in trouble.
So Chris keeps pointing at Stu and staring at the microphone. So back in the day when you went to school and it was a job, and your dad owned a massive sign painting shop.
Yeah, I guess we forgot to mention that.
Yeah. So back then, I mean, you can get into that as well, because I've heard it before, but I love the stories because it's just how you grew up and how you learned to do stuff. But back then, when sign painting to you was like a job that you went to at a place and there were guys and everybody did their thing and then it went home, is it better for you then, or is it better now that you guys are just kind of like cowboys and doing your own thing?
Bit of both. Back then, I got a paycheck every day, which was pretty awesome. Now I get nothing. I get paid in beer some days.
Yeah, less than minimum wage.
Also awesome.
And Canadian minimum wage, which is way less than Australia.
$6.50, I think. That's about it.
Even if you save up all the empties, it's not going to pay for the liver transplant.
Yeah. And then you get like the hobos that come around and steal our empties. And I'm like, man, there goes my $2.50 for the week. I don't know. Yeah, it was considered as a job, and for us, our dad was always, here's a trade. It'll give you something that'll always give you money. It'll always pay your way. It'll probably never ever make you rich, but it'll keep you afloat. And he was right, I guess, in one sense. But now I can see it more considered as an art form, I guess.
Yeah.
I can see it going more towards the new signing way, and the sign painting way, and a lot of kids that are coming into it now think it's all cool and trendy and hip, and they never saw what we went through or the old guys went through. They just see, oh, this looks really glamorous, and here's a cool sign, and I want to become a sign painter. It's like, yeah, but did you see what those guys did 50 years ago or 100 years ago? Like,
then it's also, hey, now do the exact same thing in a different font. And they'd be like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I practiced this one. It's like, okay, that's the difference between doing it for fun and doing it for a job.
Yeah.
I mean, with us at Bully, and I'm sure Marcus with you as well, when the client comes in, like, well, we need this. It's like, cool, we'll figure it out. And we've never turned anybody away and said, well, we don't really like working with circles. We've really focused on rectangles. So I'm afraid we can't help you. But that's the job, is somebody walks in with a problem and you have to solve it with images and letters.
yeah.
Not only that, but somebody comes in and has an idea and you don't turn them away anyways. And even if you don't know how the fuck you're going to do it, and you just go, oh yeah, we can totally do that.
Yeah.
And then they turn around and go, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I have 2 days to figure it out and master it to seem like I did.
We just went through that this week because we did a job for a company and it was through the brewery and thank fuck Stu was there because I had no idea what was going on, and this guy was telling me this should be here, and then when I'm like, aren't we just here to paint the signs? Like, why are we doing all this other stuff that we shouldn't be doing? And Stu was reading all the maps and stuff and the architectural drawings, and I'm like, fuck. There's numbers, there's math.
Well,
what's going on?
You talk about designers being the worst.
And I've always been Stu's apprentice, so there was no beer there.
This is this, and this is this spec, and this has to be here. I'm like, oh, well, where's the lettering going to go? Oh, we don't know. We'll just stick it there. Okay. If that's what you want.
And
it doesn't have it on the plans, but okay, we'll stick it there then. All right, done.
So you figured out the entire thing except for the part that you called us in to
I
do.
don't know. I don't know.
pretty much.
That's the thing, is that even for me still, and I've seen you guys paint, a decent amount, is I wouldn't know how to, now coming from a creative background, I would have no idea how to tell you guys what to do, because I don't want to ruin it by telling you what to do because I'm not design, like I have no inclination for this kind of stuff. I don't have an eye for it. So you guys must get a lot of clients that are just like, oh, just do whatever you want. And then they come back 6 hours later and like, what'd you do? You're like, well, whatever we wanted. It's like, well, I don't want that. It's like, God damn it. Like,
yeah. Well, it happens. I think going back a little bit, 1983, when the first computers started coming into sign making, there was a company out of Germany that produced this machine called Gerber. And it was a vinyl cutting machine. It cut plastic letters.
Yeah.
And anyone that's seen the documentary around town or around the world or wherever whoever's listening to us, which is probably 10 people.
No, we have like
12.
40 now.
40?
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I told my mum. Hey, Mum. Love you. So this machine came out, and my dad thought it was a great idea to get one of the machines, and I think it would cost him. It was the second one that came into Australia. It was like $56,000 for this thing.
Whoa!
And it had no computer screen on it. You had to type everything in manually. It was crazy. And then so you still had to take your notes.
Plot it out.
Yeah. So
whoa, that would have taken much longer than just painting a sign.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
it was slow. It was like yeah. So we went to a trade school and we learned how to do all of our lettering, every single font that we were taught at that school. Egyptian block, scripts, poster styles, which seem to be the trend right now with the young kids coming through, classical Roman, Old English, everything you were taught, all had rules and regulations and math formulas to everything. So you learn how to do all these, and then you learn how to mark them out into a certain area, and there was guidelines and rules. Now, all that stuff's gone out the window now. It's like this free-for-all. So the computer came in 83, and then everybody started buying computers, and then some of the old guys just kind of kept on going, and like us. And Dad was pretty progressive, so he went forward, but he still kept the traditional methods because he didn't advance right into digital and things like that. We'd stick down some letters, but we'd still put a hand-painted shade on there. anyway, yeah, he ended up retiring, and we kind of moved over here. And it's a long story, but yeah, it's changed so much over the years that now, we have all these people in your situation that are, graphic design or illustrators or whatever. That's it's easy to just press the button and go on the computer and find something and stick it over, superimpose it over the top, and go, yeah, do that. But they have no idea where that font came from, if it suits. They just. It's just, I don't know, I think it's like copy and paste kind of thing. And
well, it's hard to being in that world. I mean, I taught myself how to design. I stole a bunch of books from a place I worked at, and over the course of like 2 years, after like working through the books and all that kind of stuff, I learned all the technical aspects, and I'm still kind of embarrassed about the fact that I don't know a lot of the historical stuff. When you're talking about when your dad was still doing things traditionally, because this new stuff was fine, but that's what he knew. That's exactly what happened, as far as I know, with graphic design and that kind of thing. There used to be these rules and these guidelines, because if you're laying out all your type in blocks and you're doing all the leading perfectly, and like you have to spend days and days setting it up, it better be right. Like there's nobody like. The client wouldn't walk in and say, why don't we try Futura instead? It's like, because it'll take 3 more days just to set up the page. Like, we can't make these kind of changes, and changes come really quick now, and everything's very temporary. So with the way things used to be, where you'd have to follow these guidelines in order to get the job done, so things would look aesthetically pleasing and all that kind of stuff, that now has vanished. And it's like, well, just do whatever you want. And people are like, doesn't this look good? I'm like, yeah, but what's it for? They're like, it's for this and this and this. I'm like, well, that makes no sense for that. They're like, well, it looks good.
Yeah.
I was like, you charge somebody for something that looks good but doesn't make sense for them.
Yeah, I guess you guys have probably seen the trends in graphic design over a lot of it's just like simple block font, black background seems to be the trend for every bar, restaurant. Place.
It's really, for some people, it's really easy to get done. And for a lot of the clients, it's really new, or they've seen it for a few years, but it's new to them that they can have that too. But they're like, yeah, I want that played out bullshit because I saw some stupid barbershop in Portland had it, and they twirled my goatee just right, and now I want my daycare to have the same branding. It's like, you can't have an axe crossed with an arrow called like Toddlers in Tears Daycare, and because nobody's gonna fucking show up. So it's not a universal brand you can apply to anything. It's really kind of a catch-all that means nothing and pleases people that don't know what they want.
And that sort of stuff is easy as well, and that's why I think people just go for it. There's a pub in town who has a great name, but the decor and overall styling of the pub sucks.
Is that the Tudor House pub?
The burnt down one? Yeah, it had sucks.
That was my local, man.
That was?
Yeah, ever since it burnt down, that place fucking sucks.
I love that castle. No, it's another one in town. I don't know where the name came from, but they have TVs on the wall that are in black and white.
And they're 18 feet up in the air?
Yeah, that's true. But they have a great name, but there's nothing else in it that they've explored of could have been that theme, and that's where like kind of taking the easy way out and not going with some nice sign painters to do some really awesome work inside could have benefited this type of thing.
Well, it could benefit it not only aesthetically just by having a cool door, a cool window, or a cool bar sign or whatever, but it could also help them historically by being like I know the bar you're talking about, and it's really, they're going for kind of a 40s. It's based on like an old name, and people like Chris and Stu could walk in and say, well, this is appropriate for that era. And like, oh, I never would have considered that. I would have gone for the same old bullshit everybody, like I would have done Gotham or Brandon Grotesque for the type, and be like, well, that's what everybody else does. It's easy. It feels right, but it's wrong.
I'm surprised that they don't know where to find us on our website. My wife's going to love that one. Little inside joke there, folks. People just aren't educated anymore. Like they don't know that Stu and I exist out there. mind you, we don't get around. We don't have a shop vehicle getting around. We don't, people just kind of know us through word of mouth. We've been very fortunate through the brewery that we've been able to get our work out there, and we can't thank Phillips enough for that. And it's just word of mouth. It's like, well, yeah, the Dobell guys, they'll go and do a sign for you guys. They don't know that we're the only guys left in town that know how to do 23 karat gold reverse gold leaf, which hasn't been done in the town for 30 years. We're slowly trying to bring those techniques back. But, these are all the things we learned at trade school. But the young kids now, they want to go, they see everything on YouTube or Instagram. They want to go straight to the top. They don't want to put the hard yards in. They don't want to sweep the floor and get the lunches and do this shitty stuff that gets you, which takes a long time. Like Stu and I have been in this for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the trade school side of things. Because I was at the Sydney Trade School of Sign Writing, or was it the TAFE?
Mm.
So
you went there?
I did, yes. I dropped out though. No. But I looked, and that course is still available.
Yeah, but they don't teach any.
They don't teach it.
Nice work, Stu.
Mike.
Well, my dad,
Technical difficulties.
Stu and I's dad was a trade school teacher there in the 80s.
Yeah.
Around about 85, Dad was teaching up in Sydney and in Wollongong, our hometown as well. And we had some fantastic trade school teachers that a couple are still alive and some are passed away. Excellent tradesmen, and so we were very lucky. We were taught the right way, sort of thing. But we also had very good tradesmen that worked at Dad's shop that just wouldn't put up with, if we were to mark something out, they would come up behind you and say, no, that's wrong. Do it again. Mm-hmm. Now you can't say that to people.
There's too many feelings to hurt.
Yeah. So it was a really good trade school. It was 1 year of learning how to mark out all the letters and what categories they all fell into and things like that. Stage 2 was all colour theory and airbrush work, and then stage 3 was gold leaf and silver leaf and learning how to do reverse glass things, and
And that was all in 1 year?
Yeah. We'd work on one piece of glass for the whole year.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
And so after you're finished, is that when you started working with your dad?
Yeah, it was a 3-year apprenticeship and then 1 year with the company, and that got you your apprenticeship, and that's 4 years. If you wanted to go and do the nighttime journeyman's course up in Sydney, you could go and do that, and that was more glass work. It was funny. We had Stu and I were very lucky. We went down to Minnesota to a guy, Dave Carell's shop that we like. He actually designs fonts. He'd be probably a fun guy to chat with. Excellent sign painter. Mm-hmm. And he showed us this beautiful glass gas pump that he had restored.
Oh, those things are super cool.
Yeah, it was really
to be intact.
And he'd done all the pictorial work in reverse on glass.
Yeah.
And Stu and I were there drinking his fancy grain belt beers that they drink down in Minnesota.
And shit on grain belt, remember?
I'm not allowed to put shit on grain belt. But actually, it wasn't that bad a beer.
That was pretty good.
I like Dave's homebrew better than the grain belt. So yeah, Dave's showing us this beautiful glass piece, and then Stu and I were like, "Why didn't you do a transfer for that, like a water slide transfer?" And everybody just stops and looks at us like, "What the fuck are these guys?
What are these onions talking about?"
Like, somebody just give those guys some more peanuts and beer.
Transfers? What are transfers?
So we try to explain to them that, when we were in trade school, we learned how to do these water slide transfers, and you could slide them off onto the glass. So you could paint normally, but then you could, slide them off like an old, like the tattoo kids.
Yeah, I was going to say, like you get
same sort of theory.
Oh, okay.
But this is, like an old school method they used to use on glass back in the day. So here we had all these big pros from around the US that we'd admired for a long time, and a bunch of bums from Canada that what are these guys talking about? And sure enough, I think we had one over them for a change. So yeah, everything's changed so much, and everybody just wants to go straight to the top without learning the hard yards.
Well, they want to be cool. They don't want to be good, and really good. It comes down to knowing what to do when something goes wrong and how to still pull it off like nothing did.
I just called Stu. Stu, I fucked up. I spelled it wrong. Fix it.
My number is 1-800.
Actually, I've got really, really good at fixing signs. That's my specialty.
Yeah, that's Chris's specialty.
Stu, what do you mean there's an O in count?
Well, spritz. One.
Oh, man. There's some good ones.
There's a lots.
I did a good one the other day. I did a sandwich board and, one side, and I was like, I'm just going to make a tracing of this sandwich board and I'm going to flip it to the other side and I'm going to be done. But then I realized the arrows needed to go the same way. And I've made that mistake, I don't know, probably 20 times or more.
Well, there was like months ago where you were painting out an entire alphabet, and then
somebody picked
what
up
letter
on
did you forget? I think it was the F or something.
The O's. I did that on purpose so people can like pick it up. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did that on purpose. Yeah.
You just don't sign those ones.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Don't sign too many of them, actually. Only the ones we like, which is weird. Everybody's like, you don't sign your work. It's like, wait, just do something really cool and then sign it.
It's all garbage until then.
Well, we were talking to our sign petty, Rick, out in Calgary, and he said he didn't sign any of his work, and we were really surprised. He's like, well, obviously he doesn't like anything he does.
And so you guys were talking about the traditional way of learning, like the water slide transfer. Is that what it was called? Am I getting
it was a water slide transfer. Yeah.
So
sounds pretty fun.
It does sound like a lot of fun. All this kind of stuff that you guys know that can save you time or can just make the work better or anything like that. Like say Marcus and I decided, and not in like a cool San Francisco way where it's like, we're going to paint signs now in a genuine, we're changing paths. And
how many beers do you have at the fridge? You can have our business right now. It's yours.
Don't do it.
But how the hell, unless there's that trade school in your town, which is very rare, how do you learn how to do it properly now? Because you guys see a lot of weird work out there, like in the same word, a serif with a sans serif. And I think we all know the awning I'm talking about right now. But how do you avoid that? Like, how do you genuinely get good at it? Or is it like tattoos now where you have to apprentice with a person that knows? Like, do schools exist?
Stu, you want to take this one?
Well, Chris.
God, Stu, give Chris a chance to talk.
As far as I know, there's only one left in the US, the LA Trade School. Is that right?
Yeah, unfortunately, Canada had one. Actually, a couple of. I think Edmonton had one, Calgary had one, Toronto had a school out there. They're all shut down. I think there's maybe 2 left in the US. I know there's one, LA Trade Tech, down in California. Their numbers have quadrupled since the release of the Sign Painter documentary.
Yeah, no kidding.
They also teach computer stuff as well, so it's not just hand painted stuff, but. Yeah, as Stu and I, we chat about this all the time with Sean and even with you guys. You know, it's there's you can't go anywhere and go to school anymore. So you've got to look at online. You've got to look at YouTube videos. You've got to study books. You've got to try and track down the old guy in town, which is us, and we're just going to shoo you away with a broom. And it's hard. Nobody wants to. All the information's all there. It's on the internet. So there's no hiding. It's just that some people are a little bit better at understanding it than others. But it's the most, I would think it's the most abused trade in the world. Like anybody can get into this trade. You don't need any sort of formal documentation. You don't have to go to university. You don't have to go to, we were lucky we went to a trade school. So, I mean, we can say, yeah, we went to a trade school, but you guys could start up your own sign shop tomorrow. Bully sign, bang, you're into it. And you could paint all sorts of weird shit and people are going to pay you for it.
I'm going to grab some Walmart craft paint. That's what's going to go up.
You should see the shit that's out there.
It does happen.
And then when you try and give some advice, and I'm bad for this because I see stuff on Instagram or Facebook and I'll be like, oh man, that guy needs some help, Hey man, you should, like this is how the shade should be going. It should be on this angle or whatever. And the response is, fuck you, what do you know? Beat it. And it's like, dude, I've been in this for like almost 30 years. You're telling me to pound sand? It's like, okay, well, so you get jaded and you just don't want to, you're like, fuck these guys, I'm not going to teach them.
But it's really annoying because it's a hard thing to do. I mean, like you can get all documentation, but if you are misinterpreting it and holding your brush wrong or doing something wrong, it's never going to be right. So
you'll never master it. It's a crazy addiction.
But not even being willing to accept help from somebody who knows what to do. I mean, if somebody who's been designing longer than I have, has an awesome portfolio, is like, hey, maybe next time, why don't you think about doing something like that? I go, oh, cool. I'm getting a free lesson right now from somebody that knows their shit. Yeah. And it's never out of, like, you're not being a dick about it. You're just like, hey, just so you know. But then as soon as you start a sentence with, hey, just so you know, they're like, well, what don't I know, motherfucker? And then it turns into a big thing. But it's like, hey, someone's trying to help me. Why am I being a dick?
It reminds me of my dad was a funny dude. And Dad and I never got along, and Stu always saw that. Yeah. And then now we get along great because we tell each other fucking dad jokes that are terrible and laugh over Skype, and it's hilarious.
He is my father now.
But I remember, Dad always saying, he's like, like to the young kids, like if they were doing something wrong, get out of here before I, tow you up the arse and sort of thing. And I remember the first time I actually said that to some young kids that were trying to break into our car to get out of here, I'm going to tow you up the ass. And then they all just turned into my dad. So I feel like I'm pretty funny laughing about that. You get older and you just, you want, like Stu and I are pretty like cool in that we will help anybody that wants any help or training. All around the world, we're doing Skype lessons with guys in Minnesota. We've had a couple of young ladies that are interested, and we've had people come from all around the world and hang out with us. We've had a sweet little meet that we just had at the brewery, and we're trying to pass on our knowledge. Some people just don't want to take it the way, when you tell them that there's rules involved, it's like the old punk rock thing, man. They're just like, fuck you, what do you know? I'm gonna go and do my own shit. This shade should be like upside down and fluorescent pink. And you're like,
but then everybody who was in a punk rock band was trying to play Johnny Be Good when they were 13, trying to get it perfect. Because once you can play, the Beatles or something perfectly, then you can go out and kind of fuck it up. Once you know the rules, then you can break them.
Yeah.
But if all you're doing is breaking rules and you don't know why, then nothing's going to be cohesive and it's not going to make any sense. And yeah, you're going to make stuff that looks cool to you. But in a year, if you go by that shop again, did they scrape that shit off the door? And they put up vinyl because, everybody said it looked weird and didn't match our store, that kind of thing. So what's your guys' process when it comes to figuring out what's right for a client? Because for us at Bully, and Marcus, I'm sure with you too, I mean, there's basically an interview you have to give them. And sometimes you have to act as a therapist, especially if it's like a new business. And you're like, well, we got to get the door painted and then this asshole with the plumbing and we get this over here and this is all bullshit. And they just kind of have to like get their day out on you and then they can talk to you. I mean, that's how it is with us. And then once they can get all the stress out and get to the creative part, which should be the fun part, then they're a little more looser and they can give you kind of what they want. Is that the case with you guys or what do you find?
Yeah, it's very similar. A lot of people now, we find it just come to us and go, hey, we want this done. And it's like, well, that's little Johnny's nephew art, we call it. And probably the same with you guys. Well, that's not going to look any good, like 5 foot in the air. Like, maybe we should change the style of this lettering or we should do this. Well, no, this is what we really want. And so we find that, we've got to start educating clients before we even get into what they want. First, we ask them, like, what is the feel of, if it's a restaurant, what is the feel? Is it, we were talking about before, is it 1930s? Is it 40s? Is it 60s? Is it whatever? Are you going for something modern, trendy?
Because there are right and wrong answers for those eras and for those vibes.
Correct.
Exactly.
It's not like, well, we want a serif thing. It's like, well, you're starting like a jazz bar that's kind of like a 60s like minimal thing. Like it doesn't work. It's like, but we really like this font. So what obstacles do you hit in telling people they're wrong about their instincts? Like I'm sure often you have to ditch history and the facts just to give them what they want eventually. But what hurdles do you hit in letting people know what's right and what's wrong?
I think Mark's he's got to start his own sign business.
No, he's done.
He's gone.
I think that's his way of saying we should take a break in a second.
I think now with the computer, everybody can look up Pinterest. They can look up all these different things. They know what they want already in their head. And it's really hard to come in and say, this was a time period correct font for that, And what I think one of the biggest pet peeves for Stu and I is that classic example is guys with hot rods.
Yeah.
There was no computers back in the 50s, 60s or whatever, and they're building these beautiful, even 30s, beautiful hot rod cars, and they go and stick a sticker on the side of it. It just looks stupid.
Well, it's weird you have the entire thing fabricated, and the easiest part on it to fabricate, you put a sticker on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, you spent 2 years building this fucking thing.
Yeah.
Let a guy spend an afternoon painting on it, and then it'll look
Well,
correct.
the weirdest thing is like, I don't want to put paint on it because it might wreck my vehicle. It's like, what?
Yeah. It goes back to the old trust thing. Like, our buddy Johnny in Vancouver told me a great one. He's John J-Bone. He's like, you used to trust your doctor. You go to the doctor, you go, hey, doctor.
He's like,
what
he's like, let me see your dick. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
But like,
well,
if the
it's
guy
hard for us because
if the guy at the
doesn't
beer store is
exist.
like, let me see it, I'm like, is this beer going to be free or what are we doing? Like,
Do you want to join the Third Nut Club? What's happening here?
coming soon, third night fonts. So you would trust. And I think back in the days, because there was no computers, you would, and this is Stu and I's, and we still stick by this theory and this way we were taught. We go in, probably very similar to yourself, Sketchpad. We're very lucky. All those fonts are somewhere up in our pickle brains. Right there on the spot, we can start sketching out the sign. So you can show the client almost immediately what the concept ideas are.
yeah.
Without having to show up with a laptop and start, like, hey, let me just pull this font over here and
What's
change
the
it back.
Wi-Fi? My fonts aren't working.
Yeah. And so that sketch concept that we learned how to do the thumbnail sketch in trade school, which was, that was a big part of, that was your sales tool. And you would go to a client and, and we just did it. We were very lucky. We went out to Calgary. Phillips took us out to Calgary to paint some signs out there for Canada Day. And same thing. We sat down with a few of our accounts out there and took the sketchbook and we started sketching and to try and show them. Everybody wants to see what the sign's done looks like in advance. So it's extremely hard to show them for us. Nobody trusts the sign guy anymore. So you're trying to educate your clients when you go into that meeting. It's like, so you'll take some old magazine pictures or your photo portfolio or your Instagram these days or whatever. And, this is what we did for this client.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we can do everything that's like, vintage all the way through to 23 karat gold. We can do all these fancy tricks and stuff. And hopefully you can try to trigger them on that, get them to, one thing that they like. And that's the hardest thing is some people just don't know what they want. Sometimes you just got to tell them what they want. Or some people know better than you because they've looked on Pinterest and the wife has told them what they want and they're too scared to get their truck painted.
It definitely seems like definitely an underappreciated trade. There's definitely a lot of like, I imagine there's a lot of people who just, that trust just isn't there because it's not a common thing to go through.
You just can't show them what it's going to look like when it's finished. That's the hardest thing.
Yeah. Like I had a plumber at my place a couple months ago. And it's like,
did he show you what it was going to look like when it's
he didn't. He showed me the pipe it was going to come out of. But the point I'm trying to make is that I trusted that he was going to do what I wanted to be done, and that I could just step away.
I got some good plumber jokes.
But then the weird thing is he came back and he sketched out the plumbing and he showed me a drawing of it and said I can do it in, gold leaf. I was like, I don't know if that's necessary.
You want to gild those pipes? Yeah, we can gild them.
Well, one of our
Golden turd?
recent clients at Bully, we did a big brand kickoff and all that stuff. And it's a fairly big company and they have huge clients and the huge partnerships and all that. And then after doing the kickoff, which is basically a therapy session, which is like, what's right, what's wrong, what do you like, what do you don't, not like what color do you like what do you like, what don't you like, what if other people were going to talk about your company, what would you want them to say? And just all these questions that kind of put them in a different mindset. Then everybody starts laughing. And then all of a sudden you start getting the truth. And then we went into the second meeting and I had that sketchbook over there, or that sketch pad, which is like a 18 by 24 sketch pad, which I did all the logo ideas on. They were nice enough to let us present and went through the whole thing. And then as soon as we opened it up for comments, their project lead said, I'm going to be honest, when you first opened that book, I thought you were fucking insane. He's like, we're paying you good money and you brought us a sketchbook.
Dude, madman, come on. These guys rocked it back in the day.
Then he said, but then you explained everything and all the choices and why you did all this. And now I love it because when it's on paper, you can change it.
Yeah.
When it's on a computer, it's like, oh, so that's a finished picture? It's like, no, this is a sketch. It's like, no, sketches are on paper. And graphite and paper, you can change all day.
Yeah.
And it's cheap and quick to change. As soon as, we used to put together big presentations, like 35-page presentations, and here's your logo and all the stuff. And they're like, oh, thank you so much. It looks like you put a lot of work into that. You're like, oh, you're commenting on the presentation, not the logo, because you don't like it. If I just sat down with you and showed you all my ideas, and you asked me, what if that was over there? I'd say, well, that would be weird. It would create a weird flow. Or I'd say, let's try it and just sketch it out. And it's like, that would actually be kind of cool, and we can go down another road.
Okay, what sort of detail do you go into your sketches? Because we recently had a client that said that we love your work. Your finished work is great, but your sketches suck.
Oh yeah,
but for us, they're fucking sketches, man. Why would we spend 5 hours on a sketch?
That could be wrong.
But that could, that you're not going to like when I could be spending 5 hours on your job.
Yeah.
So that's just a rough indicator. It's a thumbnail sketch. And then
that's what
we lost the job, unfortunately, and a really great guy. I was he was too scared to get his baby painted sort of thing. And
well, some people want to know what it's going to look like when it's done.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then go get vinyl or go get something, because that'll be precise and it'll be exactly what you want, or trust in the fact that these people know what they're doing.
Our stuff is not perfect.
No.
There's imperfections, the human imperfections in there.
That was the perfect word to fuck up on.
You know what's wrong? The wrong over here. This is the problem.
Has anybody asked for vinyl on brick?
Yeah, they do that now. The digital guys.
Wait, what?
Steam Whistle
They do that.
Steam Whistle just punched a whole bunch of vinyl all over brick walls and made them look like supposedly vintage. Old school vintage ads. Sorry, Steam Whistle, but it fucking sucks.
Why not get them
I hope these
painted?
guys hear it. It's ridiculous. As I said, we're out in Calgary. Our buddy Rick out there, he does a lot of old school vintage stuff. He paints trains. He does walls for the big companies out there. And same as that, he works in the film industry, Hell on Wheels, a bunch of different movies. He studied the old ways and he knows what it should look like. And then, we all sit there and we were having a beer last weekend or whatever it was. And he was pointing out, it's like, now they can stick vinyl onto brick walls. What's the point? Like, why are we even around anymore? It's like, if you can stick vinyl on the walls or you can stick vinyl on everything, what's the point of having guys paint it?
But how, in terms of lifespan, it's not going to last.
No.
I don't know. Our old man was pretty funny. He always said everything's going to make it do a 360, and I think we're seeing the 360 right now. We've had the resurgence of the craft through the Sign Painter movie. Everybody's getting back into it again. There's workshops popping up all around the world. There's one gentleman in particular from Minnesota that's teaching workshops all around the world, which is some of the guys aren't in agreement with that, but good for him. He's doing really well at getting people, jazzed on painting signs.
Yeah.
All around the world, everybody has different techniques and different formulas for doing their lettering. So as soon as you get people on a forum or a Facebook page, everybody's going to tell you that their shit's the right way. And so, yeah.
That's why the internet is terrible.
Oh, it's a vacuum of terribleness. And speaking of that internet,
what the fuck is the internet?
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and open a beer, and we're going to explain to Stu what the internet is. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're back with Chris and Stu Dobell and Marcus, and I'm Matt. We were just talking about a bunch of sign painting shit that I find incredibly fascinating. I always liken it to my dad and the job he has done for 4 decades. He's been a truck driver. And if truck driving ever became cool, and guys with like
Dude, you haven't seen much road truckers?
That shit's cool.
Highway from Hell? Or Highway of Hell?
Yeah, we watched that.
But cool in the way
Davis,
that like,
man, is the shit.
but like cool in the way that like sign painting has, where there's like guys with like 6-packs that do a bunch of push-ups and stuff like that, like posing and doing like selfies by the truck. Like how much my dad would never stop vomiting and wanting to punch everybody to death. Like
it's becoming pretty like that now. It's like there's
We can call it hipster. Come on.
I'm not saying anything, man. I don't want to be like kicked off the radio.
and so you
We're on the
I'll stop this recording right now.
There's radio now?
Yeah, we're on AM exclusively.
Yeah, Marcus, turn off your radio, please. We're trying to record. So you guys are talking about these people out there that are teaching, and some are qualified, like in the absence of a proper training facility. There's people out there that are doing workshops and doing all that, trying to spread it around. And some are qualified. I'm sure some are horribly unqualified. I mean, for me, it's kind of a double-edged sword in that they're promoting the style of work, which could come back to you as qualified people that can do this shit properly. But then there's the other side of it, which is, oh, cool, now this person's the expert. And they're breeding a whole society of half-assed people that don't know what they're doing, that we're given false confidence during a weekend workshop at some fucking hotel by the airport. So
Yes.
I can see how it can come back and help you, and how it can... Stu, let me finish.
Oh, sorry, Matt.
But Stu, you want to take this one?
So, okay.
Is this thing on?
Marcus, you want to take this one too?
Well, absolutely. So with sign painting, what I've found is
Sine. Let's start with the spelling.
Oh, it's
So
probably
there's-
been changed.
You guys are
since then.
songwriters?
So there's a part where, hey, it's cool that more people know about us, and then, oh shit, people don't expect quality work anymore. They just want this type of work. Like when you go and you go to the artisanal sandwich shop and it's a terrible sandwich, but oh, Derek made it and he's just the best ever and whatever. It's like you never heard of a fucking sandwich. Why can't you gauge good and bad sandwiches? So for you guys, I mean, how is that seeing the growth of it, but also the subculture of shit work being pawned off as professional grade stuff?
Chris, you should take this one.
You know I'm getting fired up.
Yeah.
Well, I think Stu and I, we're still, as I was saying, you never master this trade. It's crazy. It's a crazy addiction. You will keep on researching and studying and trying to get better and better and better. You'll see other guys that you meet out at the meets and things like that, and you want to copy their style, and you just keep on learning and learning and learning. But the young people that are trying to get into it, they just want to go straight to the top, as I was saying. So they'll take that weekend workshop, and then what they're doing is they're going on to teach a weekend workshop after taking a weekend workshop, and then they'll say that they're an expert because there is no license or law, or you know, I can't go out and say that I'm a lawyer. I probably do a pretty good job at it.
Well,
But
right before they give you the
brain surgery,
the
maybe
anesthesia, and they're like, "It's cool. I watched a movie on this." You're like, "What?" And then you just go black. And you're just like, "No."
make one hell of a good beer rep, but no. So I mean, it's just an abused thing, and I think you guys probably see the same thing. It's like, as Stu was talking about before, nephew art. So I'm sure you guys deal with clients that have kids that are playing around on the computer and they design mum and dad's logo. But then
Kids
they want
or
to
significant others or friends or somebody that had a really good idea.
so they call it nephew art in our And then I said to Stu today, I read this story on Facebook, and one of the boys from the UK, and first mistake he made was not getting a deposit from the client, and the artwork was terrible. It looked like a 5-year-old had drawn it with a crayon, probably couple of beers deep. And because I drink a lot over in the UK. Pretty early. And
don't look at the tables.
So he's, I was reading the Facebook post there, and he drove 200 miles, paid £140 in paint. And I won't name Mick on the radio, on the podcast here, but
okay, it's Mick Jagger.
Felt sorry for the guy because he gets there and he's trying to copy what these guys have designed, and he's trying to fix it up as a professional sign painter would, like straighten the edges and make it look good. He got fired from the job because he was trying to do his job because they wanted it to look shitty, and then they hired someone else. So because he didn't get a deposit, he missed out on the job. And I showed Stu the artwork, and Stu's like, what is this coming to? Like, who designs this shit? And then I'm sure you guys get that because you probably look at stuff and go, oh man, we have to work with this, and it's hard to try and deal with, somebody that's already had that logo. And we see it a lot through the brewery because restaurants and bars around town and across Canada that we work with have really bad logos. One, for example, we just did, I sent a message to our beer rep and I was like, hey, is this like a country and western bar? And he's like, no, it's a high-end bar. And I'm like, why does it have a shield with fucking horns coming out the side? If this is a high-end restaurant, what the fuck is going on here? Like it had like little bullet hole kind of things and it looked like a country and western bar.
Like a shit kicker bar, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, this doesn't reflect, but this is what's happening because it's so easy for people to get on the computer and press buttons. And
it's crazy to think about how things have shifted in your industry and how things have also shifted kind of in our industry, sign painting and graphic design, where you guys used to belong to like a larger shop. And traditionally, like if you follow Chris and Stu on Instagram at Dobell Designs, you'll see these old sign painting shops that'll have like 30 people all in a line, all at easels, all painting shit for Coca-Cola.
Yeah, the Heinz one was
huge. Cool. Oh yeah, the Heinz one was awesome. And it's just these huge shops pumping out this stuff that was probably fed to them by some marketing company in conjunction with the client. And this is our idea. And can you guys do that? So back then, it really appeared to be more of a job. Yeah. And you take pride in your job, you do your job well, but it seems now that because the sign painting profession is really coming down to small teams of people or single individuals cranking this stuff out, everything gets very personal. And when you're dealing with a client, and we hit this, and I'm sure anybody that's listening to this that's had a client who owns the small company or the startup or whatever, it's their money, but you also want to make it your money. And it gets really, really personal. So they're like, if you're not willing to reproduce this bag of shit, you can hit the bricks. Yeah. It's like, well, that's all fine and good, but you engaged me to come out here and buy 140 pounds worth of paint and to do all this stuff. So give me my money. It's like, well, I'm not giving you any money. It's like, well, now we're just assholes arguing, where before it was this like formal thing where we booked a job and in 1 month you're painting a Coca-Cola billboard. And how crazy would that be? Like, would you probably historically, because I know you guys are really into the history of the sign painting. I mean, just to work in a shop like that for a week, if you could go back and like get in the DeLorean and go back to like the 40s and work in Marty. But
God, the beer would be terrible, wouldn't it?
or great.
Probably, yeah.
See, everything comes full circle. Oh yeah, the whiskey would have been good. But what do you think it would have been like? I mean,
talk about whiskey.
Oh man, if you get, and that's why when Stu and I go to these meets, like I'm straight onto the, sounds terrible here. I'm straight onto the old guy in the corner, but I'm just like I'm trying to suck in any of that old history and knowledge and listen to the old guy stories, because like our friend John in Vancouver there, John Lanning, he runs Big Top Sign Arts over there. There's a plug for you, Johnny. 70 in his 70s now. 50 odd years of lettering. Can't beat the knowledge and the history.
He does beautiful work, and he does really simple stuff too, just to show this is how you do it.
That's because he's left-handed. Sorry, John, if you're listening.
There's going to be a time, probably 30 years from now where it's gonna be like this guy is an 80-year-old web designer. He was around for at the beginning, and here's some lessons you can learn.
I got my ass kicked, and I still do plenty of times from Sean, because Sean's designed those logos, like especially the Phoenix head, and the early days when Stu and I were painting the Phillips Phoenix head, which is the main branding there for the brewery. We've distorted the shit. I remember Sean giving me a printed out actual, this is how it goes.
These are the proportions. Stop fucking with them.
Like, I'm going to measure these fucking things up.
Yeah.
But I do like working in with graphic designers, because some of them, like Sean included and yourselves there, you guys have got great ideas as well. So we're just coming from a sign background. So we're just coming from looking at old signage and going to a trade school. We don't necessarily see what the future is of the design stuff. So sometimes it's fun to work in, especially with Sean, because he has great ideas, and you try and mix the two, which is good. So there's a future of that, of working in with other people and creatives that can make your signage look better. And then there's also having things at a time period correct, and it's frustrating because you want to try and do something cool that should be in that time period, and then some graphic designer or design studios telling you that it should look like this, and you're like, oh man, it never looked like that.
So thinking like back in the day, going back to the question about what do you think it would have been like to work in one of those big sign painting shops way back in the day, where the Coca-Cola marketing expert comes in and it's like, well, that's not how the C looks. It's like, well, we've painted it and it's already 18 feet tall. Like, what do you want to do here? Like, there are mistakes that can be fixed easily, but on the scale of work that they were doing, like, what do you think it would have been like to be basically in a sign painting factory rather than basically start your own sign painting punk band?
I'll let Stu take this one, but I've got a little backup answer I'm going to tell you about. But
I don't know. I think back then, it would have just been a job. Like, some guy would have got paid $1
apprentices
a week, probably, to paint this sign. There was probably no like, man, this is my dream job. This is just getting me through.
So I can go to graphic design school.
Exactly. And start my own company called Bully. But I don't know. Like, I watched a really cool documentary about I can't remember his name now. The guy who painted all the barns, did all these barns through
like the mail pouch tobacco.
Yeah, all the mail pouch tobacco, kind of stuff.
Those are awesome.
Harrick Warwick or something like that.
He just painted barns.
Yeah, that was his job. He went around and he just painted all these old school barns.
That's so specific.
Yeah,
well, they were like billboards at the time. It was you're going through the country and it's like,
I thought he just he went around to barns and painted.
painted barns.
Like he was like an early Banksy, just like fuck you, barn.
I'm gonna paint this barn. I'm gonna paint the shit out of this barn.
Like, we're gonna do red.
No shit.
Oh yeah, it was like in old timey days, like driving through the country, and then you look over and there's an ad for Lucky Strike on the side of a barn. Yeah. That was a billboard.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So this
more
guy,
than what was in my head. Sorry.
Well, this guy did basically how he got into it is he got out of the war. He had no job, and he was a country boy. And there was a team of guys painting a barn, his dad's or grandfather's barn. And he's like, "Oh, this looks really cool." And the guy was like, "We got a job available. If you want it, it's yours." So he's like, "Oh, cool." Packed his bags, jumped on board with these guys, and off he went. And before he knew it, he was the last guy painting these barns like 80 years later, because no one knew how to do it anymore. And it took him all across the States and whatever. And now it's looked upon as art. Like, before it was just a job. He was a 16-year-old kid. I need a job. I need to get out there. I wouldn't mind picking up a brush and painting. Had no experience, no nothing. Off he went.
Now they've all like aged perfectly over 50, 60, 70 years, and they're just, you could never make that
Yeah, and now they become like iconic pieces of artworks where people are actually going around and documenting them before they all fall down.
I guess that's why you see like American Pickers.
I love
going
that
in.
show.
Frank.
I just want to go play in all their shit.
How do you like the Canadian pickers versus
No.
the American pickers? Because Sean's like, fuck the Canadian guys, man. They're just in it for the fucking cash, but the US guys are.
Although the US guys are so fired up. That one dude who doesn't just eat ham and cheese all day.
Frank.
Yeah. He
Mike and Frank.
Yeah.
he gets so fired up over like a 7-Up sign. He'll see like on like the
But they
other
got
end of a
vinyl on the
junkyard.
side of their fucking car, though.
Well, they don't know what they're doing, but they know what looks cool.
That's true. They do support Butch Walker, who was one of my favorite artists.
But it's just that you could try for 10 years to make it look that cool, and you'll never stop fucking it up. It just has to sit, and it has
like
to
the old tin toys and the bikes and all that sort of stuff.
like it just has to kind of die. So in that respect, when people come to you guys and want age stuff, like I know you guys do some like really beautiful, like distressed.
Stu.
I'm sorry, I have a drinking problem.
Stu's really slowly playing a drum. He's been 4 beats so far.
Yeah.
But is there a part of you that's like, don't get us to distress it, just wait for it to kind of die a little. It'll look better? Or
Actually, yeah, we just had that
just
from
come
from the Palomino bar out in Calgary.
Yeah. Plus, look that up if at Dobell Designs on Instagram and check out the Palomino sign they just did out in Calgary 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, for
Something
Canada.
like that.
Yeah.
And
Phillips took us out there for that.
it's so old school and cool, and it looks like it should be like a drive-in restaurant, like what like A&W used to be. It looks
It was
like
fun.
you just want to drink a beer and eat fries there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Arlen out there, who's he kind of hooked that up with our beer rep Jeff out there, and it was based off a 50s sign.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I changed it. I probably shouldn't have changed it. I got kicked up the ass that night for changing it, but we had to kind of stretch out the day. So when you're drinking on the company's money, you stretch it out as long as you want.
So,
But
stop.
it was stop calling me. That's probably Jeff calling me right now. Spelled it wrong. Fuck. Yeah. So
This is Palamind.
so yeah,
O at the end.
it was. We painted on this old crazy like concrete wall at the back of the Palomino bar, which is a sweet rock bar out there, and they have great barbecue and bands and everything. So yeah, we had to paint this wall, and we were going to make a pattern in advance, and then we saw the shape of the wall, and there was no point in making a pattern, so we just winged it, and we took what we could take in our carry-on, which was like the string line, some chalk, and all the old school things that sign painters would have in there. We can't take, vinyl cutting machines and digital printing machines.
Yeah.
Which looked like a bomb on the way back, just for anybody going through the airport. Chris got pulled over.
Don't put your brush box
And,
with 2 rolls of tape and some rollers.
Yes.
Doesn't
And
look
while
so
his
good.
pants were falling down at the same time because he had no belt on. But that's a different story.
Yeah.
Back to the other one.
Yeah, so we had to, and people there on Canada Day watch us paint this, rough old brick wall. I wanted to make it look ghosty because I thought it would have been more time period. But Arlen, who owns the bar, is like, just paint it normally with the normal paints that you guys got because it'll age itself gracefully. And in a couple of winters and summers out here, it'll be faded and it'll be looking cool anyway. So
That's awesome. He had the foresight to just be like, this place will be here then.
Yeah.
So it'll get better over time. Like a lot of bars open up, a lot of restaurants are like, let's make it look like it's been here for 20 years. It's like, you can't have a vinyl grand opening banner in the front window and have like established 1953 over the bar. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So it's just kind of like, you go to Boston Pizza and all the pictures are like screwed into the wall, but they're screwed in crooked, so it looks crazy. Like it's organized stupidness that isn't legitimate and it feels like a ripoff. So it's awesome to have a client that actually said, "Let's just wait," because imagine going back there in 2 years and seeing how it shaped up. I mean, that'd be awesome.
it'll be interesting to see how because we're using latex paints as opposed to paints they would have used back in the old days, which probably would have been leaded
Yeah.
paints, ground up by roots of the trees and old time shit. Going back to where, like Stu, when you asked that question before about what would it be like to work in that old sign shop. Another great book that my mum actually got for me. It was called The Sign Palace. It was an Aussie book. It was this young kid that grew up in the Great Depression in Australia, and he either had to go and work in the mines or somehow his dad got him into working in the sign shop. So they would all start at the bottom. So they would be cleaning brushes and going for they just did all the shit kicking jobs that you did when you're an apprentice. And now we don't have apprenticeships because you can just go to a workshop and then you're an instant sign painter.
That's easy.
You can see my bitterness coming through.
They should have done that back then.
More beer. So this young kid, he goes through and he works his way through the ranks. And one of the jobs he goes out to, it's the Queen is coming in for the Olympics in Australia in 1956. And so they paint this huge big mural on the wall to welcome the Queen, and it's something about one of the knights of St. George or something like that. So whoever's designed it up, because everything was done by scale working drawings. So
like a grid.
Like a grid. So whatever was on, and that's how they did all the walls for the old. Stu was talking about those old chum tobacco and all the ghost signs you see around Victoria.
Yeah,
they're all gridded up.
C5 is her eye. So just do it.
So whatever's in that
the
section.
piece of paper, which is old school and smart and overlooked now, I'd imagine.
Well, most of them just project everything up now.
Yeah.
They'll project it up and paint by numbers. The projectors are that good. So some people still work off scale working drawings, which is nice. So that's why I just tell them to Stu because I can't fucking read the drawings.
And so they're doing the one for the Queen.
Yeah, so they get this St. George guy and he's like slaying a dragon or some shit. And the Queen's coming out for the Olympics or whatever it is. And there's this huge big parade in 1956 or whatever it was. Or it might have even been earlier than that. But they put 3 arms on the St. George guy. So they get down on the road and they look up at this huge big mural that they've done, and they like realize that the knight has 3 arms. They're like, oh man, what the fuck are we gonna do? So they send the apprentice, which is this kid. They strap him to a chair, like just a fucking school chair.
They hoist him up
and just hang him over the edge.
Hang him over with a rope.
Holy shit!
With a brush. And then swing him side to side. Oops, fuck, now I've ruined the place. Until he could wipe out the whole arm.
Oh, really? So like a pendulum with a brush attached to it? Only it's a child.
That was just one of the many shit jobs this kid had to do to go all the way through the sign industry. And then he ended up becoming a pilot after that.
Well, because fuck
signs. It was a great book.
Yeah, you can get through that and becoming a pilot.
So thinking about that and thinking about that kid being in that position, and when you guys were kids, you were in similar positions.
Don't ask about that job. Still have the scars.
being in the paint shop as kids and all that with your dad. What's the biggest change you've seen since you started? Not like the industry and
I'll let Marcus take this one.
Yeah, Marcus.
The biggest change that's probably happened in the sign industry is the paint.
It's shinier now.
It is. It's shinier. It has more sand in it, which they used to put wood chips in, but now it's sand.
Which is smart.
It's quality stuff. And sometimes they put glass in it. It cuts, but you don't drink it as much.
Not as much, but still just enough to make sure it's paint.
Pretty close there because the paints have changed a lot. And I know you're bullshitting, but they have.
Well, we've seen latex paints come into play.
Aren't as great
big time.
Yeah. But just like overall, like not how the industry has changed and all that, just from your perspectives, how has your approach to a job changed? Is it more like, I know what I'm doing, fuck off? Or is it more like, I know what's going to happen, let's just do it smart? Or is it more like, let's try something new? I mean, it's...
Honestly, what has, I think it's changed for Stu and I is that we used to be able to design the job through our company or Dad's company or whoever. Now we're being told what to paint. That's probably the biggest change. Like, so we'll go in and be like, okay, so what are we doing here? And they'll be like, you need to paint this. This is what the designers have done. Not it's not our design, it's not our artwork or whatever. So we're just painting what somebody else has done. I think that's before you would go to the sign shop or the sign painters and be like, hey, you need to, we want a design designed. Now somebody else is like, you guys, you're designing the sign, and then you're referring them to us and go, hey, go and see Chris and Stu. They'll paint that up for you.
How often are you being sent a Pinterest link?
Just this week, actually, for a post with some lovely signs and
Said love
blah, 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 blah. I can't say anything because it's a gift for a lady who's doing it for her husband, but she wanted some like directional signs done on her. It's like San Francisco this way, and blah blah blah. Yeah, and and we get a lot of wedding stuff like that too.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, here's our Pinterest folder, and this is for me because I have a little battle going on with one of the boys down in Texas there, Sean Starr, and another guy in the UK, Tom Collins, and we've been all trying to outdo each other on who owns who has the old timey photo, like who has that best old 1800s photo, and and that's why I don't watch porn anymore, because I'm researching sign porn instead. I think my wife will probably disagree on that one, but
no, not at all.
Babe, I'm looking at signs.
This is taking a
She
turn
knows,
from the weird.
knows you look at
those
sign porn.
paint strokes.
It is sign porn.
But yeah, I've got this little battle going on with these guys because I think I've got a pretty, between Stu and I, we have probably one of the oldest collections of signed pictures of guys painting signs from day dot to all the way through. And people are like, where do you find these pictures? It's like, we're diving through people's archive. Like we are the pickers of, you talk about the pickers. And then when I go out to, I go with Sean and Stu will go out to the thing out at West Shore there, whatever they call it out there, the swap meet there. And we're like picking through people's shit. Like when Phillips just bought the new building next, the gymnastics building there and the Duke Sports and that sort of stuff. Yeah, Sports Traders building. When we found out about that, Sean came in and was like, hey, man, did you hear about Phillips bought the building? And I was like, we should get in there and pick that. And he's like, the maintenance guys already got through there and they found an old 100-year-old safe. And I'm like, yeah, but there's still more shit in there.
Oh, there's cool shit. Yeah, sure.
So we ripped through. Yeah, we went, probably spent 2 hours and we're ripping stuff apart and trying to rip through and because I'm looking for that. I'm like, I want to find that old sign, or I want to find that old cool thing, because that's something that I can use for a reference for our stuff. And we get pretty passionate about it. I think that's the downfall, instead of just treating it as a job and be like, hey, fuck it, it's just a job.
Yeah.
My problem is I get too involved with it, and then I get, end up just going, well, in the end, you either lose the job or you get the job and you're extremely stoked about it. Sometimes you lose the job and you're like, well, maybe it was for the best. So
when you find one of those old signs, I mean, it's got to be cool for, you may be able to use a technique or something you haven't quite seen before. But there also has to be a part of it that kind of validates what you do. And this shit lasted 70 years. I can show this to a potential client and be like, this is 70 years old. What I make you today, if you don't mess with it or lose your business or anything, it will be around after we die. Yeah. And that's a super rare thing now. I mean, everything's so temporary, and anything digital can go away in a second, and it's like, oh, that was fun, but it's gone, and that's too bad. But
I think the biggest one, before we get sorry to interrupt you there, is
Gold
Leaf. Gold Leaf was around this town when it first started. Gold Leaf's been around for so long. It's starting to make a huge comeback now, but people are making a bit of a mockery of it, doing Bart Simpson shit and stuff like that. But
yeah,
if you go into the Strathcona and you go upstairs into it's like sports bar where they play darts up there, a bunch of cricket bats, there's a mirror on the left-hand side. It's all done. 23 karat gold, almost, it's early 1900s. They brought it over for the wicket. Nobody knows what it's worth. They just think it's a mirror for advertising a gin company or a whiskey company or whatever it was. But it's 100-year-old. It's perfect condition. It's beautiful. And Stu and I, we took all the people that come up to visit us for the sign meet that we hosted, and we took them all in there and showed them. We're like, check out this, crazy. And everybody sat around this mirror like a bunch of signs. What is it? yes. Rogers Chocolates. That window is 1920s. I think we talked about that when we first met.
Yeah, and I see it every time I walk by now. It's this old Canadian chocolate company, and they have this.
Yeah, so one side is 1920s.
When did it go up? 1920s, yeah.
And the other side was reproduced by, just so happens, an Aussie guy who came to Canada because he knew how to do that sort of gold leaf stuff. He reproduced it in the 80s because the window got smashed. Parliament buildings all around, Murchie's, the Drake. Oh, well, where'd that come from?
Yeah, if you ever come to Victoria in British Columbia, go drink beer at the Drake. They have no TVs on the walls. And Chris and Stu painted everything, and it's all just beer.
And you will lose your paycheck within 5 minutes.
Yeah, on kind of small beers.
Yeah, very small beers.
But I can't say anything about Mike. He's a history guy too. He likes all the stuff, and their beers are great. So
when
I've lost many a paycheck there.
Yeah, when he was opening that place, I asked him, I was like, "So what's this thing going to be?" And he said, "No TVs, just canned regular music, no DJ, just beer, just like a neighborhood drinking hole." And I was like, it's about goddamn time, because everything has to be a thing. Like the unnamed pub we were talking about earlier, like it starts with no concept, and it's just a weird, like, look how cool it looks in here, but it's like, we got the door painted and all that, but they don't have a vibe. They don't have anything that looks like it's going to last. It's all a trend. But if you come to Victoria, you go to the Drake, spend a good amount on each beer, but the beer's all really good. So
you guys will get a kick out of this, because when Mike was first starting there and he was looking for places, he'd owned a couple of other places, Knockenback Bar and Grill, and I think the other one out at Langford there or somewhere, I can't remember, on the Crossroads. Yeah. And he was looking for a place, and he'd been looking for a while, and he's buddies with Matty. I think he was one of the first guys that was selling Phillips beer around town, and hell of a nice guy. So I went to go and see him, and we're talking about signage, because Phillips are pretty good like that. They help out new establishments that are opening because they want to get their beer on there, and Mike has been a long time client. So I went and sat down with Mike, and we were talking. He said, I'm having a hard time. Spoke to some graphic designers, and they just don't get the concept that I'm trying to go for, and the logos, and I'm trying to come up with a brand. I was like, oh, okay, that's no good. So there's the old sketchbook. Well, I think we had some napkins or something. I think we grabbed a couple of beers, and right there and then on the spot, we end up creating that Drake logo for him,
which is awesome. And
it was done within probably 2 beers, back and forth.
Yeah,
that was something that was just a very simple sketch, and that's a very powerful advertising tool for Stu and I, because we can do that there on the spot over a beer with your client, explain how this can be used in so many other different ways. It can be used in screen printing. It can be used in your letterheads. It could be used as where people designing today, they don't think about, the only thing they think about is like what looks good on the screen, not what's going to look 40 foot in the air on the side of your car when it's ripping past at 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Is it going to look good on your cell phone? It's crazy. Like nobody thinks about that anymore. And that's the things that we were taught at our trade school. Like we were taught about to try and think about the overall, what are you producing for these people?
And so that's really, it goes back to the training and the fact that if you ask a relatively new graphic designer like myself, I've been doing it for like 17, 18 years.
Do fucking Marcus and Stu even fucking talk?
No.
We're off having beers in the background.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
Most of the time, I'm holding in my piss.
He holds it in his hands.
In his mouth?
But the Matt and Chris show.
The difference is, and I think this is a good way to kind of start winding it down, is if you go to a new designer, they have to look for old stuff that they have to kind of try and recreate that will kind of look cool for this place if you understand fully what the notion of this entire place is. Or you can go to somebody who knows what they're doing, who can pull an era out of their head and know how to represent it with different personality.
Yeah,
it's just a typeface from the 30s, there wasn't just one. It's all types of shit. So, I mean, to match the vibe and the personality and the purpose is a different thing other than mimicking an era.
Yeah. But everybody had, like every sign painter had their own style too. So you could, wherever you went, you couldn't just go and pick a font because you were picking, Jones signs and, Harry's signs or whatever. Everybody had a different style, so there was not a lot of documentation. Well, there was a certain amount, but all those old books are now well sought after.
Yeah,
lucky for Stu and I, we've got a few of them. So, but yeah, it's to anybody that's listening. Don't get into the fucking sign page. Become a graphic designer. Yeah,
we will
plenty of jobs really designed.
It's a lot easier, yeah.
Actually, get into the beer game.
yeah.
Chris is good at crushing dreams.
I feel like I just crushed our friend's dreams down in Minnesota there. Sorry, Derek, if you're
That's the
listening.
thing about dreams is we have new ones every night.
On that note,
I just had one more thing. Oh, sorry.
You can run for a whiz.
Did you have one more thing?
I gotta go. I was gonna suggest a break, but
Oh yeah, let's
No,
do
I
a
just
break
have
and
one
come
more
back.
short
Just
thing
go-
and
We
then
can turn
we'll
this
just do
into
the
the longest
shutdown
podcast
and-
ever.
yeah.
We got more shit to talk about.
We'll have you guys back a bunch because it's just way too much fun not to do this. So
Past your bedtime?
no, from where you guys have started to where you are now, how would it end perfectly for you?
A shotgun? Sorry, did I
always
say
just
that?
wanted to go like hanging from the inside of the sea can roof where they come in, they throw me, and
It just got one shot
Like-
poured down his throat. And like,
maybe like a bottle rocket or something in my hand. Like, oh yeah, that's the way it was going to go out.
It's like a Hunter Thompson style exit where it's like I had a good career
Yeah.
and I'm going out on my own
yes,
terms.
I'm going out with a bang, baby.
Well, it's
I've breathed in so much paint fumes over the years. It's not going to end like pleasantly for me.
I think we both know that.
yeah. Well,
Cancer's probably on the way.
Stu, it's nice to have Stu back. That's what I can say for starters, because
Yep.
I wasn't that smart and have to get everybody to spell check for me. We're just starting to get the team going again. I think Phillips is going forward in leaps and bounds, which everybody knows around town. It's amazing to work with Jim and Matt and especially Sean. Sean is we can't thank that guy enough for all the encouragement that he gives us and pats on the back, and he's great to work with. We don't know what's going to happen with Phillips. We don't even know what's going to happen with ourselves, but if we can just keep on
Keep on
trucking, yeah. Like, I mean, it's pretty much a dream job for a couple of alcoholics that
Yeah.
that failed in a band and ended up in Canada.
It took 20 years to find our niche,
Yeah.
but we're here.
It'd be nice to be able to see a little bit more gold put back into the city. I'd like to see that because it's a beautiful city that had a lot of history in gold. Hopefully we can try and bring that back through the help of the brewery and some clients that will start understanding that the value in that sort of work, as like yourself, that you got the gilded windows here.
Yeah.
I don't think it's slowing down anytime soon. I think we're just right at the peak of it right now. I mean, it will die off again, and then those people that survived it will keep on going and painting signs, and hopefully Stu and I will pass it down to other people, and they can continue on. So
do you see yourselves becoming at some point like teachers and historians when you don't want to go out every day? And I'm talking with the guy with the 4x4 being like, put pussy magnet on the side. And you're like, dude, like
The
I
weird
would rather
thing,
teach somebody how to do this than do this.
The funny thing is we have some pretty crazy knowledge at our hands. Our dad sent us the holy grail of sign painting in Australia was when he was teaching. They had all the daily lesson plans, so we have all the daily lesson plans. We have the whole 3-year trade course there. We have all our trade school books. We could start a school here in Canada if we wanted to and teach. But the problem is that everybody's just so set in their ways around the world that whatever we teach, they're just going to bitch and say that's wrong anyway. So
then they'll just do stuff wrong forever.
That's why you have no refunds.
Exactly.
But anyway, it's we feel pretty privileged to be able to continue our craft here in Canada, and there was so many good tradespeople here before us. And those people that sort of follow Instagram or something, they'll see some of the old Canadian stuff that we've posted in here. And there was awesome sign painters here in the day, and you can see it around town, like Parliament buildings, and just look around town. And instead of looking at the shitty signs that are on the windows, look up and have a look and see what's shining at you. It's the gold leaf and it's the cool stuff. Look around Chinatown up above there. It's beautiful old ghost signs that are fading away and aging gracefully. It's
they won't restore, or they just get knocked down and see you later.
So there's so much cool stuff, and then when you start looking into the history of those buildings and realize how hard they had to work, and probably how hard the sign guys had to work back in those days to be able to produce all that stuff, so that we can be here today. It's pretty cool when you get into the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as sign painting, as I said, don't get into it, kids. It's a fucking goddamn curse. I'm surprised that Stu and I are still married, because our wives are very, very fortunate. I don't know how they put up with us. I don't know. But anyway, cheers to having us, guys. And many more podcasts for you guys. Little shout out for Phillips. Thanks for supplying the beer tonight.
Yeah, for all the blue buck.
Intravenous.
It's good, and then once you have 9, it's amazing. So one thing we like to ask people at the end of every show is, and I'll ask both of you, why do you still give a shit about designing signs?
Because it's a love. That's for me. It's a passion and a love, and it's something that I'll probably do until the day I die. I know.
I think that's pretty good.
If you died during a sign painting, would that just be the ultimate?
I think so. Yeah.
But it was on the last paint stroke.
And then fall off the ladder 50 foot down. Sweet.
Just like those people that train the killer whales at SeaWorld, that it's like, she died doing what she loved.
His final paint stroke.
By a whale.
His final paint stroke.
I'd probably have to go way into debt, but I get my friend Russ Pap, there's another shout out for you, Russie, to come and bronze Stu and stick him on top of the sea can next to the blue truck that's up there dying gracefully.
So you're assuming that Stu's dying before you?
Fuck, man, he works way harder than what I do. Why do we give a shit?
Still.
Oh man, it's as I said, it's a crazy addiction, because all you want to do is, like, you guys get it because you're always searching for some cool design, or you see another artist, and it's not just sign painting. It could be music, it could be graffiti, or like, we're inspired by so many different things out there that keep you going every day. And now we have just, like with social media, you can see guys' stuff from all around the world. Back in the old days, you had to write a letter or see it in a magazine. And I was recently cursed out because I didn't subscribe to the magazine that Stu and I always wanted to get into. We were featured in the magazine after years of trying to get in there. We got in there, stoked, we got the article, and they were like, hey, sweet, we made a Signcraft magazine. And then I started looking at it, and it all just became digital and dimensional, which didn't really make any sense to Stu and I, because we weren't doing that sort of work. I said that I'm not buying the magazine anymore, and I got a phone call from a guy saying he wanted to beat my ass, and because I don't buy the magazine anymore. I was like, fuck, man.
I think it was, I'll beat your ass and then I'll buy you a beer.
Yeah.
I'll give you a beer. One or two.
That could be the first ever fight over a magazine in the history. I'm not buying Cat Fancy anymore. I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah, people always say, is like, what's your best sign you've done around town? We got some gems out there, but I just don't think you've seen the best of us yet. I think we've still got more to do, because we're still researching and educating ourselves on becoming better and better and better. So hopefully we can pass some of that down to the next gen, and whether they pick up on it or not. We've got a young lady, Mila, that comes in on Wednesdays. She's trying to learn a little bit. She's probably one of the best we've seen so far around town that can paint a sign. And we just, when you don't know how to press buttons on a computer, you just got to paint a sign. Bartending didn't work out. The band didn't work out. Unfortunately, I can't make adult movies.
Not anymore, ever since the castration.
It's an enjoyable trade. It's taken us around the world, and anybody that knows it's been in it for a long time, it can take you anywhere you want to go, and you only get out of it what you put into it. So if you're prepared to put a bit of time in and learn about it and study it, and like you guys know, then the rewards will come. So and it's taken us a long time, and we've been, as I said, pretty fortunate with with Phillips and Merridale and a few of the other tattoo clients that we have around town that really trust us to do some cool shit for them, and we're slowly starting to get out there. So it's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for having us on.
No, that's awesome. And anybody that's listening, you can find Chris and Stu on Instagram again at Dobell Designs. Find all the cool shit they're doing. They post stuff like every day,
including porn.
Yes,
Yep.
sign porn. That is.
I'm born.
And Chris has gone back to the farm league. He's it's just purely for the love of the porn now. It's not money anymore. But they paint tons of cool stuff and old photos, and just look at the list of the people they're following, and then just start following them, because there's all these people.
Oh,
that just,
yeah.
it's
There's
just
a bunch out there
They're
now.
way
a
better.
really
than
cool.
us.
It's a cool,
Yeah, we're like amateurs compared to some of the guys out there.
like it's a whole world that you may not know existed, and then you're going to feel dumb the second you realize it did, because it's
Been around
amazing.
for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can find us online at Worst Design Show at any social media thing that we're on. You can go to designersartheworst.com. We're going to post up all the photos, all the links, all the shit we talked about today at designersartheworst.com under this episode. SoundCloud is /Worst Design Show, and Facebook as well. And yeah, thank you guys so much for being on the show.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having
You
us.
guys.
I hope you edit the shit out of this. Because
We don't edit
No,
anything.
editing.
It's brutal.
No.
there we
Oh,
go.
there you go.
Yeah, so,
Edit that out.
but thank you very much. That was great. The first time you're on the show, because we'll have you guys on again, because we can talk. This could have easily been a 4-hour show.
We could come back when the lawsuits start rolling in.
We'll talk about all the dirty shit next time around.
So thank you, Chris. Thank you, Stu. Thank you, Marcus.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you guys.
Thanks everybody for listening. And just
Cheers
remember,
to Ryan over there.
oh,
Big
and thank
L.
you for
Thanks,
Ryan
Big
for
L.
taking notes.
Yeah.
There's Ryan. And thanks everybody for listening for another 2-hour episode, because we're fucking uncontrollable and we can't do anything normal.
Hey, it fills in half your day.
Yeah. And remember that making pictures for a living isn't all that bad. And if you think it is, then you're the worst. So goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.